Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Ladies and gentlemen, fellas, what's up? What's poppin'? We're back. We're back after having the weekend off. We're back after your boy was out hiking and climbing 4,000 feet in elevation over 10.5 to 11 miles in the deep, knee-deep snow of Maine, the White Mountains. It was a beautiful time. There's going to be a vlog, right? Yeah. We got the vlog about halfway done. That vlog will be releasing later in the week, probably scheduling it for Friday. So be sure to have the notifications on so we get vlog number 5 out in the streets for all of you, of me hiking mountains, of me sampling some baked goods, me with my buddies out there. So be sure to check that bad boy out. So yeah, we're back, and oh boy, it's March now. It's March 1st. It's a new month. It's a new week. I love when those things add up. And also, you know what you got here? You got National Peanut Butter's Lovers Day. So National Peanut Butter PB Lovers Day. So you're going to be celebrating out there. And if you're allergic to it, oof. You got like 6 or 7 other holidays, but nowhere near as good. Because peanut butter itself, ooh, so damn good. That all natural crunchy peanut butter. Ooh. Oh yes, we're going to be having a good time today. So we're back with the rotation, the regular rotation. Your boy's back. We're going to be live today at 4:30 p.m. East Coast time, breaking down this slate. And yes, we only have 4 more games until the All-Star break. Today through Thursday, and then it's a day off. It's a day off from Friday all the way till Wednesday, Sunday NBA All-Star game. So here's what we're going to do for you, ladies, gentlemen, and fellas, today. We're going to smack you. We're going to smack you so hard to start the week, to start your month. A lot of information. The quick injury news, the quick as we possibly can, and then into the top 12 picks on the day. All I ask from you is to like, to subscribe, to do those things, right? The notification bell so you know when we're going live later today, because it's basically going to give you a better chance at increasing your chances of winning from all the information you get at Schmack with. You can ask any types of questions that you want, even if it's not related to this specific slate. And I would also like to call out that there's no better time to sign up for Patreon. All the tools that you are going to need to increase your chances of winning, and also an optimizer, all in one place at industry low prices. Look. You're normally going to have to go get the optimizer somewhere else, the tool somewhere else, and you're going to have to pay like $50 for each of those things. Bam, under one roof for like half the price as most places in the industry. For an optimizer and all the tools that are all going to be featured together, a 24-hour community, all the things that you're going to need for any skill level out there. Check it out down below on Patreon right now. You can find it in the description below, patreon.com/Sal_Vetri_. The goal there is to eliminate your research time, cut that shit down to 0 if you got a lot of time and a lot of things going on, and also at the exact same time increase your chances of winning. How could that not be beneficial? So let's kick back, relax, and max all cool. Start this thing off. Quick injury news. Gordon Hayward and Zeller both missed yesterday, so they're going to be questionable today. Paul Millsap and JaMychal Green and RJ Hampton, the rookie, he's now in the health and safety protocols, are all out for Denver. In Philadelphia, Embiid and Harris are going to be questionable. You have right now also happening in Indiana, Malcolm Brogdon questionable. That would really be impactful for guys like TJ McCollum, and then also some other players out there as well. In San Antonio, lots of news going on still. Keldon Johnson is questionable today for conditioning, coming back from health and safety protocols, but we still have no Derek White, we still have no Rudy Gay, we still have no Devin Vassell, the rookie, out there. Jeremy Lamb is also questionable today. Chetty Osman is questionable today. There's some other smaller injury news, like James Ennis is going to be questionable, potentially doubtful today, things along those lines. But that's your major injury news right now. Obviously tracking stuff that happens with Gordon Hayward as it affects LaMelo Ball. Obviously tracking stuff in Philadelphia with these big names. If both Embiid and Harris were to miss, it becomes Ben Simmons night and a whole lot of other players pretty quickly. But let's get into our number 12 play of the day, and that man is going to be right now Eric Bledsoe, who's not somebody who usually features on this list, but you're getting a couple of things happening here with Bledsoe and a couple of things that really make him nice from a game theory standpoint. So you're getting Eric Bledsoe right now at these lower price points. Now, he has been pretty cheap as of late, right? He hit that $4,800 price tag a couple games back, which was the lowest we've seen, but you're getting a couple factors working at the same time here. You're getting Eric Bledsoe's minutes to be coming up, 33, 35, and 34, and that's fantastic compared to like the 25, the 24, the 26 that he has been playing as of late. So the minutes are now stable, which just playing more minutes means more shot attempts, 11, 13, 13, and he's been playing better as of late, over 30 fantasy points in back-to-back games. Last time out, he scores 39 because he ends up picking up a couple of blocks, assists, steals, those types of things. He ends up picking up, I believe, 6 rebounds, the most we've seen out of Eric Bledsoe in a very long time now, not really known for crashing the boards. But at $5,300, although the prices come up about a couple $100 over these last couple of games, it's still nice because the minutes are there. It's the biggest thing, and he's shooting guard eligible, point guard, shooting guard eligible. So if you can get Eric Bledsoe going out there now and playing 32 minutes, 30 plus. If we could even project him for 30 to 31 to 32 minutes here, and now you know that there's maybe no JJ Redick, which is maybe fueling a little bit of this minutes floor, that starts to look pretty good in terms of like a top 12 play. So if JJ Redick is in, it cuts down from Eric Bledsoe's minutes floor, meaning his security, right? Okay, maybe now you can only project him for 28 minutes, but if there's no JJ Redick, you start to project him into the 30s, and obviously for a guy who's going to be averaging 0.85 fantasy points a minute, a 20% usage rate, 20 plus over the last couple of games, that's going to look appealing. So Eric Bledsoe, our number 12 play on the day today. We head over to number 11, and we're going to be going over to Utah today, where Donovan Mitchell, even with Mike Conley back, has been playing very well. But Mike Conley, over his last couple of games, only point guard eligible, which kind of restricts some things. But over his last 3 games back, has played well. 32, 40.5, 31 fantasy points. He's played very well. He's been this 1.1 fantasy point per minute producer so far this year. But the thing that was very appealing in that last game was we finally had a game that stayed close, right? He played 29 minutes in a game where they won by 32. He plays 27 minutes in a game where they end up losing by like 26 points. Okay, so we don't really know what this minute security or this ceiling can be since he's returning, right? And then he goes out there and he plays 33 minutes, right? He plays 33 minutes. He doesn't shoot great, 6 of 15, but he gets his shot attempts in there. Doesn't have anything from a rebounding standpoint. Doesn't really do much in terms of blocks and steals and all that. So he doesn't really have a great game in 33 minutes, and he scores 31 fantasy points. So if the game stays close, we know that Mike Conley is right back to his normal minutes, right? This was kind of the thing I was trying to see based on like popcorn machine and game flows. It looked like he probably played 30, maybe 31. No, he played a full 33 in that last game. So that's the big thing when you take into account that he is over a fantasy point per minute producer. That's the big thing when you take into account the matchup he'll have against New Orleans here. So yes, the price point is coming up on Conley. He returned that $6,000 back on the 22nd of February, and then he went to 61 and stayed at 61. The price point is now up because I think the software and just the algorithm of DraftKings is realizing, yeah, this guy's playing minutes now, and he's a good fantasy point per minute producer. I think it's appropriate where the price point is. It makes him a top 12 play for me as the day right now. As we hit the top 10, I would like to let you know about the sponsor of the show today, and that is going to be SuperDraft. And the reason why, the unique selling point, if you will, on SuperDraft, the reason why you should be playing over there is twofold. One, it's a brand new format. It's a multiplier format. It is not going to be salary cap based. For example, today, Mike Conley has a 1.55x multiplier. If he ends up going out there and scores 40 real life points, 30 real life points today, you multiply that by that multiplier of 1.55x, which basically just means he gets 55% more points compared to guys who have no multiplier. That can really be beneficial for you. We have projections, we have interest in player pools that you can check out on Patreon below to help you out also if you're getting into that. But the other reason why, and the bigger reason why it's important to be getting your first dollars down on SuperDraft as long as you're in a legal state, is because the contests don't fill, and overlay is a real thing. Site overlay is an insane thing. What does that basically mean? It means that the contest, it means that the company, in SuperDraft in this case, is putting in the remaining money to fill the contest, which means you're facing less people for the same amount of money, which just means your chances of winning are way higher, and when you do win, you win more. So your expected value is going to be fantastic here. SuperDraft just sent out like an email to the whole customer base. I got one yesterday that basically just said, okay, well, this is what overlay is, and this is why you should be taking full advantage of it over here, and that's something I've been saying for a while. If the contest continues to fill, let's just say at 70%, there's a 100-person contest. It's going to be more, but for easy numbers, 70 people fill that. The other 30 people, they're not in it. That's basically like they're all getting zeros, right? They didn't fill the contest, and SuperDraft has to put the money in for those 30 people, right? It's somewhat of a promotional tactic, but it's where your money should be going right away. Your odds of winning are so much higher when the second you put a lineup in, you're beating 30 entry spots because nobody's in that, right? How do you not put your money there first? That is why you should be getting it down there first. Your odds of winning are way higher, and when you win, you're going to be winning expected value-wise way more. People are chasing NBA Top Shots, and I get it for good reasons right now in a hot market and things like that, but nobody continues to, or at least slowly people do. I can see in the Discord, slowly people go over to SuperDraft. It should be getting flooded in a very similar way if you're serious about DFS. It's just that the marketing on these bigger sites like DraftKings and FanDuel is in your face more. That $100,000 to first that you're never going to win is in your face more, right? It's fun to play over there. It's fun to chase those things. It's definitely fun when you have more contest selection over there. But man, if you're not getting your dollars down on SuperDraft, you're doing it wrong. So check it out. The code SAL, link down below, will get you a free money bonus up to $500 Rooskies. That is SAL. Lets them know that you came from me to take advantage of that lovely deposit bonus. The number 10 play on the day is going to be Miles Turner, and it's really a minutes thing here. 6 straight games of 30+ minutes for Miles Turner. If you basically played him in any of those games outside of one where he shot very poorly, 3 of 7 overall, didn't do anything from a rebounding standpoint, you probably felt pretty good. Now, Sabonis hasn't played as great over the last couple of games, but you're getting some nice matchups for Miles Turner. Now, this one can be the one that's very serious. In a matchup against Joel Embiid, it's going to be scary from a let's just say a foul trouble standpoint if Miles Turner's out there against Embiid. Miles Turner has not been historically great against Embiid, so we'll see what happens with the questionable tag on Embiid. That will kind of change some things potentially for where Miles Turner ranks for me, but at $6,200, a mid-range center right now who's playing bigger minutes, I would expect, I don't know who else they're going to put out there. They're not going to put Gogo Betances out there, or Goga, a guy out there against Joel Embiid if he plays, so it's going to be Miles Turner, right? It's going to be Sabonis, it's going to be Miles Turner. They're not going to be replacing Doug McDermott's minutes for Miles Turner unless there's foul trouble, so I expect 32 minutes out of Miles Turner today, and 32 minutes out of a guy this season that's going to be going out there and averaging over fantasy point per minute is going to look pretty dang good as a top 10 overall play at just $6,200. Again, 6 straight games of 30+ minutes. The minutes are now stabilizing, where at some points this year there was like 26, 28. Usually you're getting 28 if you're lucky. Now you're normally getting 30 to 32, 34 if you're lucky. Our number 9 play in the day is going to be Miles Bridges, and this is going to be specifically if we don't see anything from a Gordon Hayward. We saw Charlotte yesterday win by 1 point against Sacramento, and you ended up seeing Miles Bridges in that game come off the bench and play 32.5 minutes, but he also closed out the game. Miles Bridges shot 5 of 7 overall, had 9 rebounds, 4 assists, played very well in the game. Miles Bridges' price point is nowhere near where it should be at 4,800. The 1.75x multiplier is if there is no Gordon Hayward, looks very appealing. The rebounding rate very quietly if there's no Cody Zeller is something else that will spike up a little bit as well. But with Gordon Hayward and Devontae Graham off the court, you're currently getting Miles Bridges to average about 0.85 fantasy points per minute so far this season. You see a rebounding rate around 17.5%, which is one of the higher ones on the entire team. So Miles Bridges is somebody that I like at $4,800 against Portland today. If, and this is a big old if we don't get any Gordon Hayward today. If Gordon Hayward is in at 7,300, he actually starts to look appealing. Bridges goes back to the bench. Well, I mean, he stays off the bench either way, but he goes back to playing like 24 minutes off the bench instead of these 32 and being in the closing rotation yesterday is something that's really important to call out. The number 8 play on the day today is going to be Mr. William Barton, somebody from the Denver team that, look, with RJ Hampton out, it's going to continue to help guys like, look, you have PJ Dozier back, so it'll get to his minutes. It'll get to guys like Campazzo's minutes and Monty Morris a little bit, but these are just bodies that keep going down. You still have no JaMychal Green, which is the bigger reason why here. You still have no Paul Millsap, these guys that combined usually for like a full 48 minutes at the power forward position. You're getting his stability to hold up. You're getting Will Barton playing bigger minutes as of late. You got Will Barton in that last game to actually get more shot volume, and that's what he's been having over these last couple games. Now, the price point is up from like when we played him at $5,200 last time out, but it's a nice 1.65x multiplier right now over on Superdraft. It's a nice pace environment. The team total and the game total is not yet out yet, but he averages a 0.83 fantasy points per minute, which is very nice for this price point, especially if you can get 28 to 30 plus minutes in 276 minutes without Hampton, without Green, and without Paul Millsap on the court. Like I said, that last game, the shot volume has been coming up. You're getting basically right now 3 out of his last 4 games with double-digit shot attempts. That's what we need to see. On the season, he's not shooting great, 45.6% effective field goal rate. I would expect that to come up, if anything, even if it just gets like 50 to 52% like it was last time out in that last game. If it starts to slowly come up, especially in this good matchup against Chicago, you're only going to see nice things happening. So he's our number 8 play. Number 7 right now, we have Wendell Carter Jr. So this game yesterday got canceled between Toronto and Chicago. We'll see what happens today. I believe it was on the Toronto side of that one. Entire game gets postponed. So $5,800 Wendell Carter. I actually liked him yesterday and had some interest before that game was getting postponed. You're getting Carter averaging 1.03 fantasy points per minute on the season, but when you go ahead and you take Lauri Markkanen off, you can go ahead and you can take Otto Porter off, guys that aren't going to be out there. Markkanen affecting the rebound rate, Porter as well also affecting rebound rates. Guys that are going to be playing that small forward but mainly power forward position, you start to get Wendell Carter Jr. to average around 1.1 fantasy points per minute. So that starts to look a little bit nicer for you. The matchup against Denver is scary, right? You're getting a guy going out there in a tougher matchup, but he is somebody that they don't have anybody else. They don't have anybody else to try and go out there against Jokic, and basically anybody in the league is going to have a scary matchup unless it's like Joel Embiid against Nikola Jokic at this point and Nikola Vucevic. So at 5,800, I think the price point's built in. I would prefer right now Wendell Carter at 5,800 to Miles Turner just based on where these ranks are. Right now is my number 7 play, 2,6,200s, but Wendell Carter, if I average and project him for like, let's just say in this matchup, like even 1.05 fantasy points per minute in a 29-minute projection, that's what I had him at yesterday before the game got called off. That's going to look pretty good, especially when you have like a very underrated and sneaky 20+% usage rate for Wendell Carter at this point. It's around 21%. You have a 22.5% defensive rebounding rate. So Carter at $5,800. I'll take him over Miles Turner today. He is a top 7 play. Now we get into the top half of these guys. LaMelo Ball at number 6. Again, assuming there's no Gordon Hayward today. I'm going to be all over LaMelo Ball at $8,700. The price point comes down. The multiplier in Superdraft is fine if there's no Gordon Hayward. I mean, with Gordon Hayward off the court, the overall volume comes up. He goes from like a 1.2 fantasy point per minute producer, and either way, he'll have the minutes because Devontae Graham's already going to be out or likely to be out. But with no Gordon Hayward, it looks even better. You can start projecting him for around a 1.3 fantasy point per minute projection. With Hayward and Graham off the court, a 27% usage rate, 35% assist percentage, and a 14% defensive rebounding rate. That probably even that will slowly start to come up. LaMelo Ball right now, the other thing is just the minutes. Like he's going from a guy who earlier this year, we're like, oh, he's coming off the bench. He's finally playing 24 minutes, 25 minutes. This is great. Okay, now the last couple games, 39, 37, 30 minutes. So a bad game is where he plays 30 minutes, right? He still scores over 40 fantasy points. In that game, he had 4 personal fouls that held him back. 38 minutes, 39, 37, right? He's playing massive minutes right now. LaMelo Ball today, I'm going to be projecting him for 37 minutes in a quality matchup. Still no CJ McCollum out there. Again, going to be getting Gary Trent out there going up against him. Carmelo Anthony when he drives to the basket. Like this is going to be a strong $8,700 price tag for a guy today who's going to project out for me based on the minutes and based on the overall point per minute production. He's going to project out for like a Zach LaVine price tag of like around $9,400, $9,500 today, and he's only $8,700. If there is Gordon Hayward in there, yes, it takes some shine off of LaMelo Ball's overall shot attempts. It takes some shine slightly off of a rebounding rate, some shine off of an assist percentage, right? Like right now in that 35% range, that's going to drop some down. So I'm not going to be as interested. He's not going to be a top 6 play, but if there's no Hayward out there, it's going to look very, very nice. And he's somebody else who will benefit from not seeing also a Zeller out there from a rebounding rate standpoint. Now we get to the top 5, and as we approach the top 5, that man's name is Enes Kanter. I'll let you know yet again about our tools down below on Patreon. Look, I'm telling you right now, the Big Energy Optimizer is officially live. It's live for the NBA. It's live for MMA. It's live for PJ. All the sports that we're currently offering. You can check it out right now. That is in the priority packages. You can check it out down below over on Patreon. We've added some changes to the server on Patreon that now that any single patron is going to be having Discord access. So every patron will have Discord access, and that tier up level is now going to be the optimizer that we have out there right now for NBA, for PJ, and MMA. So it's the tools that are going to be cutting down your research time and increasing your chances of winning. I don't know how you can't beat that. And the thing that's going to be setting us apart is that we're packaging things together now. We now have our own in-house optimizer with all the tools that we have and a community. If you want to get access to a community, it might be $20. If you want to get access to tools alone, it's going to be probably in most spots like $50 to $100 a month. And then also, you want the optimizer? Okay, yeah, it's another $50. So you're going to be spending like $150, $200 a month. That's going to be a fraction, marginal, lowest industry costs that we have. So that's the whole goal here. So it's just a one-man show. So you can check it out down below. It appeals to all skill levels and cutting down your research time all in one place, and also increasing your chance of winning them dollar rooskies, y'all. Link down in the description. No better time to sign up from your logistics standpoint of budgeting and things like that on March 1st, the beginning of a new month. Enes Kanter, number 5 overall, the massive minutes lately. Look, the massive minutes lately, we just needed 28 to 30 minutes out of Kanter, and this is going to be the guy that I like a lot today at center, and you're going to see a couple other guys that I like a lot, but I mean, it kind of seems like a 2-center slate on the 7-game slate. The massive minutes lately have been what's getting us there. Look, when you usually just got Kanter to get 30 flat, you're like, okay, this is going to be good. Even 27, 28, right? 27 against Cleveland midway through February, 41 fantasy points, right? 23 earlier in the month as well. He gets like 30 fantasy points in that little of time. Like, Kanter is a strong point per minute producer, right? When you have no Nurkic, no McCollum on the court, he's going to average like around 1.2 fantasy points per minute. But the minutes lately, 34, 28, 38, and 35 have been very nice. This matchup against Charlotte, even if Cody Zeller is in there, it's a fantastic matchup. The second Cody Zeller misses, and you're putting out Bismack Biyombo, and not for that many minutes altogether, like they're going to put PJ Washington, an undersized 5, though, second-year player at the 5 as well. That's nice for Washington's fantasy points, but from a stopping Enes Kanter standpoint, not going to happen when this guy's an absolute freak. So 1.2 fantasy points a minute. Now I don't have to project 28 minutes. I can start to project 30 to 32 minutes and feel confident that we're going to maybe even see more minutes than that. The rebounds, you know you're going to get. It just comes down to the double-double upside. Does he actually make his out of his 9 or 10 shots? Does he actually make at least 3 or 4 of them? Probably going to get to the free throw line a couple times. Enes Kanter is a walking double-double that for whatever reason has just been stuck between 6,800 and 7,200, even though he produces like a $7,700 player a lot of the time. So Kanter at $7,200, a 1.5x multiplier in Superdraft, highly appealing. That's where we're going to be going with a decent amount of my spots early on today. Number 4 overall play today, Demar Derozan. So Demar Derozan, you're going to have some other guys from this team depending on if they play or not. Keldon Johnson will start to become appealing below 6K now if he's going to get a full workload. He's conditioning questionable today. Guys like Patty Mills are just off of this list. Guys like DeJounte Murray do become appealing, but we got to see Demar Derozan in his first game back. And the nice thing about him, similar to what you get out of Bledsoe being shooting guard eligible, it makes him more appealing. Put him into some other weaker spots in your lineup normally. Demar Derozan, small forward eligible. Not that many strong small forwards out there, right? Or if they are, you're paying extreme price points for them on some slates. But DeRozan in his first game back, right, from being out with COVID and all this, he missed 2 weeks from after the game on the 14th. He returned on the 27th. He played 38 minutes, right? Played 38 minutes, shot 11 of 18. Aldridge is still limited, so the point per minute production is still up there. Only had 1 rebound in that game too, so didn't do much from that standpoint. Had the double-double with points. Ended up just going off with real-life points for 55 real-life fantasy points. Now, $8,400, he's normally like a $78 to $8,200 player. So it might be a little bit of sticker shock, but I'm fine with it, especially when you factor in the matchup of just team no defense in the Brooklyn Nets. You're going to be getting out there today, 35 minutes projection from me, maybe 36 out of DeMar DeRozan. You can check on Patreon down below. You're going to be getting a guy who's going to be averaging over 1.2 fantasy points a minute, and now facing Brooklyn, where that's probably going to get spiked up a little bit more. Those 38 minutes back in the first game, a game where they won by 3 over New Orleans, a close game, was very appealing to see. Our number 3 overall play is on the other side of that one, and it's going to be James Harden. You might be saying, Sal, James Harden is so expensive, he's not doing anything. No, if you actually watch these games, the guy's balling out. He's just getting into blowouts. They lose by Dallas by about 20 points. He scores 29 real-life points. It looked like he was going to drop a real-life 50 burger in this game, right? Not even fantasy related. Probably dropped 70 in fantasy, but then the game blows out. He only plays 33 minutes. He basically loses his entire fourth quarter run. He doesn't play the normal like 39 to 40 minutes that he has been playing. Game before that, they ended up beating Orlando by basically 30 points, right? I think they beat him by 37 points in that game. Similar game yet again. He only plays 33 minutes. He shoots 16 times, but only plays 33 minutes, so he doesn't get like at the very minimum 5 to 6 minutes, probably closer to 7, and that might not seem like a lot, but when you're averaging 1.5 fantasy points per minute, even higher than that, with no Kevin Durant so far this season, that's clearly a lot of points. That's clearly leaving somewhere around 12 to 13 fantasy points on the table, which puts those last 2 performances at 57 and 60 fantasy points, and people aren't crying about the $11,000 price tag. He is still a top 3 play for me. The matchup against the San Antonio busted up team, where LaMarcus Aldridge is on a minutes limit, where you have Jakob Poeltl as like the scariest thing for James Harden to be driving against. Yeah, it's going to be fine, in my opinion. He's been pulled the last 2 games due to blowouts. He's a guy who I'm going to project for over 1.55 fantasy points per minute. He's going to project for close to 60 fantasy points for me today. It's something that I like to see. The only downside to James Harden, if there is one, is that he's only point guard eligible. Can't throw him into that shooting guard spot, but that's fine. Number 2 overall play is going to be Justin Patton, and this can change depending on what we see out of starting rotations here. So Justin Patton for Houston in that last game. We know they don't want to play DeMarcus Cousins. They were slowly starting to play Justin Patton more and more, right? You saw in some games 12 minutes and 10 minutes. Justin Patton played 26 minutes. He started started in that game. The game did blow out, but he was playing his normal rotations, right? Before the game blew out, through 3 quarters, he had like 17, 18 minutes. Then he ends up playing his final stint in the fourth quarter blowout. So maybe he doesn't close out that game. If it's real, and he didn't even close out that one, they even took him out of the game. They lost by like 40 points or 39 points yesterday to Memphis. So this Houston team, they don't have any bigs, right? They've been trying to put a PJ Tucker at the 5. And maybe it's because they're facing guys like Jonas Valanciunas that PJ Tucker just wouldn't work out. But now they're facing Cleveland, where it's Jared Allen down low. Taurean Prince is now back. So you have JaVale McGee for a full center of 30 or 48 minutes. So Justin Patton's number 2, assuming he starts. And Justin Patton, he fouled out yesterday, right? 6 fouls. Justin Patton is not somebody who, even dating back to just college time and also when he was with the 76ers for a little amount of time, he's somebody who will be getting into some foul trouble, right? In games where he's played any decent minutes, 21 minutes against Chicago earlier this year, he picked up 4 quick fouls. So that's the concern with Justin Patton. It might be weird to see him up here like next to guys like James Harden and who you see as a number 1 play. It's just point per dollar wise, right? So if I project Justin Patton to be starting basically, and to be playing in those low 20s a minutes, let's just call it 22 minutes today, well, he's going to start to project out for me around 20 fantasy points or so. Well, he's going to be projecting out for me around like the 18 to 20 fantasy point mark. And if he's $3,200, he's projecting out for 6x plus, right? So this is early in the day. If he's not starting today, if they don't go to him, well, then I think that Justin Patton's a pretty terrible play. I think that they just go small ball for a lot with the PJ Tucker 35 minutes, and Justin Patton plays like 12 to 15 minutes off the bench. But if he starts, I think you can get Justin Patton for around 20, 22, maybe even 24 minutes if he stays out of foul trouble. And that's where he can start scoring you around an 18 to 20 plus fantasy points at $3,200. So early on today, he's just a value at $3,200. We'll see if he ends up starting today against Cleveland. Our number 1 play on the day, the number 1 Dollaruski doesn't play on the day for you ladies, gentlemen, fellas, to start your month off, to start your week off. March 1st, National Peanut Butter Lovers Day. Peanut Butter Lovers. Love that. Love that. Flows off the tongue for you right there. Gonna be getting all that crunchy natural peanut butter in my mouth, pair it up with a nice piece of banana, put it on a rice cake, put some chocolate on it, put some cinnamon on it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Fireworks in your mouth. Fireworks in your mouth. So number 1 overall today, Nikola Jokic against Chicago. Look. The matchup against Chicago, Wendell Carter, and then who? Dad Young, right? Denzel Valentine. Oh, who? They're going to put down the next. Thomas Satoransky's going to go to like the 3 and try and go out to the corner at some point and guard Nikola. Come on, we're just having fun here. The more that we keep Nikola Jokic below $11,000, the more that we like it. We currently have enough value on the slate in the 4, 5, and even some in the 3K range if we get Patton to start. Getting to Nikola Jokic is very easy. If you want to pair him up with like a James Harden today, fine. If you want to pair him up with like a Damian Lillard today, I'm completely fine with that. If you want to just play one stud, Nikola Jokic is my number 1 play. He would be the stud. My notes on it is literally Jokic for Chicago. LOL. I mean, this is a guy who, even in the last game out on the 27th, they win in 30 points in a blowout. He gets pulled. He plays 30 minutes. He scores over 61 fantasy points. It doesn't matter. Blowout proof usually doesn't matter for Nikola Jokic. He's coming off of massive games. You're going to probably get Nikola Jokic for a minimum of 36 minutes. I'm going to probably project him for 37. You're getting Nikola Jokic averaging over 1.6 fantasy points a minute. And yeah, there's nobody to stop him on this other side. So you might be saying, Sal, are you scared of the blowouts? And I am saying no, because of that last game I just told you about. So the blowouts does not concern me. Now, obviously, he's not going to average that much in every single game, but in a lot of blowouts, he's going to be the one doing it. So the rebounding rate has never been more secure when there's no JaMychal Green, no also Paul Millsap out there. Nikola Jokic has now gotten his point per minute production up to 1.6 fantasy points a minute, a 26% defensive rebounding rate, 30% usage. He's shooting 42% from 3 right now. Jokic, our number 1 play in the day at 10,800. If I was to just entertain you by taking right now Paul Millsap off the court, you get Jokic to go up to a 1.65 fantasy point per minute producer, continues to grow. His defensive rebounding rate goes up to about 25.5. That's in a 591 healthy minute sample. Jokic, our number 1 play in the day. That is where we're at right now with the top 12 plays in the day. We'll be back at 4:30 p.m. East Coast time. So hey, how you doing? And put your hands in the air like you just don't care. Log on Friday. 4:30 p.m. East Coast time today and for the rest of the week, which is basically up to Thursday because there's no games on Friday due to All-Star Weekend. So hit that notification bell. We will be back live at 4:30 p.m. East Coast time today. We'll be having our PGA video come out later today. Also, spoiler alert, we've hit 3 out of 4. 3 out of the last 4 outright. So if you just follow me on my Twitter picks, you're just following me right now on those PGA videos, you'll be making a lot of money because we've been hitting massive numbers. 50-1 last week on Colin Morikawa. Bang, hit that. He wins that thing pretty easily. It seemed pretty obvious based on midway through yesterday, but even if you just saw what he was doing on Saturday, that's in golf. Then you see a couple weeks ago for the Super Bowl, 50-1 number on Mr. Brooks Koepka. Easy money sniping out there. So we're very multi-talented here, not just hitting you from the NBA standpoint, because we got that covered from all angles, right? You're not going anywhere. You're going to be completely fine with all the tools, analysis, optimized projections. Your boy right here smacking you in the face with all this information. So you're fine either way. But even more sports are out there. MMA, people crushing it. NASCAR, that man Chris Pennell killing it. Fridays on this channel with the NASCAR info, right? MMA, Man Pre Thursdays. We're building a little bit of an army here for all you people, an army that likes to smack you around and give you the best information, entertainment at the same time. So be sure to like, subscribe to take full advantage of that and this community, to be getting hit with even more information as the week goes on, and also other sports. You find out you like something else. My name is Sal Vetri. Thank you for tuning in today. Check out the tools and projections and optimizers all in one place. A nice community. Link down below on Patreon. And also be sure to support the sponsor of the show, Super Jeff. My name's Sal. Get you that free money bonus up to $500. It should be where you're putting your first dollar riskies, because you have by far the best chance of winning over there. So if you're not, you're just saying, I don't want to have a better chance of winning. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you later on today, everybody. Enjoy the beginning of your month and the beginning of your week.